What a weekend for Burnley. Senna says Leeds lose. The Burnley run riot against Luton. And that lot not only lose, but they took snakes with them as well. Twitter Clarets, well done. This week, the title race is back on. We're also asking our panel, is Jonjo Shelvey going to be a miss? We're talking about wages and who are the top earners at Burnley. Some surprises coming up in a second. And who do we want to see promoted up from League One? Not that we care, because hopefully after this weekend, we're not going to be hanging around to find out. We've got Jordan, Dan, and of course Connor back with us. And we are delighted to have with us proper YouTube royalty for 20 minutes this week in Jacob Horsfall. How are you, Jacob? Just explain. You are a Burnley fan, aren't you? Lots of people will listen to your videos and think you must be a Sunderland or a Newcastle fan.
Don't carry on the Sunderland stuff. I get abused on Twitter enough about being a Sunderland fan, apparently. We don't need to carry that on.
Delighted to have you with us just to comment on a few Burnley things this week. Right, let's jump straight into it. Well, we had some riff raff on the pitch with Dan a couple of weeks ago. We've had some riff raff at the training ground though this week. Security around the training ground needs to be on high alert. Jordan, it was a free day for you. Yeah, not in work.
Yeah, I was shaking like a young boy again. I went up to Maxime and I went, "Can I have a photo?" But I said it in such a strong Burnley accent. It looked at me like I'd said, "Can I get in your car?" Yeah. No. And then
nice fellas,
I said, "Oh, brilliant fellas." I also said to Annabelle, I went, our Tunisian king, and then like bumped him. And then as he went, like, "Is he from Tunisia? Like, have I just got this wrong?" I don't.
All right, let's get straight into the football bits side of it then, shall we? Yes, Fugger says, top performance against Luton, Dan, top team, top class. Scott Parker's terrorist Clarets are going up. Yeah, this title race is back on now, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah. I still stick by what I said. I know Leeds took a dive today. They got beat by Portsmouth. But I still think that they will probably win it, and I still think that we will probably go up second. However, it has made it more interesting. I thought we played very, very well. I think the referee was generous with some of his decisions. I think some of the Luton fans could quite rightly be upset by it. But in saying that, we had 3 shots on target and scored 4. So that's all you can wish for in a game.
Scott Parker's been here before, though, Dan, hasn't it? Does that give you an edge? I mean, we know Farker's been here before, and we know Wilder's been here before, but is he the master at this bit of the season? He knows. He did it with Fulham. He's done it with Bournemouth. He's, is he the best of the 3? Do you think in navigating through this tricky period?
Arguably, yeah. But in saying that, each time he did that, he went through the playoffs. So he's never gone up automatically. So it's a difficult one to say. I think he's got the pedigree. He's got the knowledge of this division, albeit he's been out of management for a couple of years. Yeah, I think it gives us an edge. But does it give us enough of an edge? I think it'll give us enough of an edge to get past Sheffield United. If we beat Sheffield United, we've got to play them yet. We beat them. I think we're home and hosed because I don't see many others beating us. We've got a tough run in. We've got Bristol. We've got Coventry. We've got some difficult games coming up. But certainly, I think we've got enough in the tank to beat these teams, and we seem to perform against better teams. We've been drawing against lesser teams like Preston, with the greatest of respect, and various other teams that are in and around mid to bottom table. Saying that, I know we've just flattened Luton 4-0. We've beaten Cardiff 2-1. So I think hopefully if these teams come to us and try and get a result, we will beat them, and we'll beat them handsomely. So yeah, possibly Parker, because of his pedigree, because of his knowledge, may well just have enough to take us up.
It didn't take Leeds fans long, thanks Dan, Connor, to start with their
Everyone's gone.
What do you mean we've gone? We're still here. Can you hear us? Connor, it didn't take Leeds fans long to start putting this stuff like this out here. Just a reminder of the top current 10 clubs, Leeds have only got to face 2 of them. Whereas you guys have to place half your games against the top 10 clubs, with 3 of them, of course, against the top 6. Obviously, Sheffield United being one of them. Does that matter at this stage of the season, or is every fixture difficult come this time of the year?
Yeah, I think coming to the business end of the season, there's no easy game, there's no hard game. It's all a real struggle and it's a real graft. But it's about the team that can really overcome that period and stick together and fight through it. But Can we do it? Can we win the title? I don't know. I think I agree with Dan. I think Leeds will just again run away with it at the last second. But no, yeah, it's everyone, in anyone's hands now.
Okay. Let's come to you, Dan Jacob. Player of the match was officially given to Foster. Give us your views first of all on him and his performance, and anybody else you think should have been given that award.
I think Lyle's had a rough time, to be honest, and I always stand by. I feel like a lot of people, and I understand entirely why they say it, is in the kind of idea of him being better in the Premier League rather than being in the Championship. You know, I feel like Parker making that move to play him on the wing makes sense in my eyes, because he's a player who needs to be in space, he needs to be running with power, he needs to have areas to run into, and he needs to be facing the goal rather than dealing with a lot of hopeful long balls, which is what usually the strikers at Burnley have been facing with. But he's just not been good enough this season. He's missed some really big chances. He feels like his head's down a lot. And that goal, I think, is going to be massive for him. And it doesn't matter where they're from. If it was a couple of yards out, it doesn't matter. Getting that goal, it'll be big for him. And I still feel like he has the potential to be a huge player for Burnley, looking into the end of the season. And I'll always say Marcus Edwards, in terms of being a shout, he's a level above. Sometimes he'll fade in and out of games, but once he turns it on, he's almost untouchable, really.
We know he's been documented his problems, hasn't it? We don't want to dwell too much on those. But his stats, Jacob, are, well, as I'm sure you report on your YouTube videos, when you look at XG and so on, 2 goals, 3 assists. His expected XG is 3.28, 33 shots. Only a third of those have been on target. His expected assists 0.74 and XG on target 1.14. Is that just the style of play in this Parker team, do you think, that's not helping him, or is there other reasons why he's having such a bad season?
I think it's not necessarily on Parker. I think it's more just the fact we're in the Championship and we are one of the better sides. Every team we play against, they'll sit deep, they'll sit in a low block, they'll force Foster to, when he is getting on the ball, again, as I said before, he's receiving balls to his chest, he's facing away from the goal, which just isn't where he thrives. He needs to be able to use his explosive pace, his power, and running at the goal, and then he can cause damage. And there's times this season when he has had that chance to hit teams on the break, and he's the one carrying the ball forward, and he's running at the goal, and he's caused problems. It's just about consistently getting him like that. And I just feel like, as much as, yes, Parker Ball isn't great for any type of attacker in the world, you can put Messi there and he probably wouldn't have a good time. But I do also think it's more necessarily like a byproduct of the league in which we're in.
Okay. Cheers. Okay, speaking of Messi, Ashley Barnes, Jordan, got his goal. Some wild celebrations, which again I think just shows how much he's loved. What do you make of his contribution to your club since his return?
When he was first brought in, I thought it was more of an impact from the bench, more of an impact inside the dressing room, as like an older, calmer head, because the team as itself, as an average age, is it 25, something like that. So, no, since he's come, I think he's been absolutely fantastic with the positivity he's pushed through, if you've seen in any interviews he's been in. And I think just to get that goal, even if it's his only one of the season, is a serious icing on the cake. And if anyone else noticed, Connor Roberts pushed him into the goal after it, and it was just rubbing it in Kaminsky's face, which I thought was fantastic. Brought a little tear to my eye, and both my kids nearly had heart attacks because I went so mental for it.
Yeah, interesting underwear choice he has as well.
I thought that.
Yeah. Dan, last week's video was entitled "Our Captain's Anonymous" at times, and literally within an hour of us publishing that, he went and scored, and hasn't stopped scoring since. So, do me and you owe him an apology?
No. End of chat. I mean, you can tell by I've changed my my bottom thing there to show that I've always thought that Brownhill were good. You can't argue with stats. All right, we look at his stats. He scores goals. He, whatever you want to. He's our top goal scorer this season. However, and I will die on this hill, I still don't rate him. And I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, but he goes missing in games. He hides. He doesn't really. He's always quite negative when he's got the ball and he's playing it back. Either play him as a striker or don't play him. I think there are better midfielders than him in our squad. And I know that I've got a lot of hate for this. I know people say that I'm just hating on Brownhill. I'm not using him as a scapegoat. We're third in league. But I just don't think in playing in his position that Parker wants him to play, he's the best person suited for that. I don't know who is. It's not Jonjo Shelvey either before we start going down that rabbit hole. But, his stats are great. He scores goals, what have you. But yeah, I'm standing by what I say. He disappears too much in games, and he often he doesn't get involved. He could offer an option for a pass, and he doesn't. He kind of goes backwards, or then he disappears again. So, yeah, people will say, "Oh, well, he scored this many," and blah blah blah. All right, and fair enough. You can't argue with that. But I still stand by what I say is that I don't, and certainly if we go up, he's not at that level.
Let's bring our guest in on this one because it's divided our panel. But I can see Jacob nodding along with you there, Dan. So that hints that you might have an ally in this debate.
Game sees game, you know what I mean?
I'm a long-term Josh Brownhill should not be starting guy, and I 100% see what Dan's saying. Like, you can't argue with the fact he scored goals. Like, he does score goals, and I suppose at the end of the day, in a team that are limited in how many goals they can score, you need someone like that, someone like Brownhill. But at the same time, I feel like in terms of general play and how we look as a team, when he's not in the team, we look 10 times better. I feel like in that spell where he was out, I think it was due to injury, and Hannibal came in, we just looked like a better side. We all-round play, we're necessarily not scoring loads of goals, but we looked more dominant, we looked safer in possession, we were better coming out from the back because Hannibal would come in and get the ball. And I feel like I get what Dan's saying there, as in, if you have Brown on the team, you basically have to skip him out until you get to the 18-yard box. You can't really give him the ball because he's just going to go backwards, or he's going to get caught trying to turn, or he's not going to turn properly. And then we're left there with just a player basically void of being involved in the build-up, whereas Hannibal gets on the ball, makes things happen. But, I mean, again, you can't argue with someone who's your top scorer, I suppose.
No, I'm
this
interjecting.
Jacob chap sounds all right.
I'm interjecting in this massively. What an absolute servant Brownhill's been since like 2018 when we brought him in. I hate the shade that's thrown on him. I think he's not the best, but he didn't proclaim to be. It's not like he storms off, every time, and people bring him down every single week. But, when there's been mass exoduses and he's been linked to this club and that club, has he stayed? Yeah, he has. As he captain does, yeah, he has. Does he come out with a sulk on his face every time someone doesn't go his way? No, he doesn't. And he put in an absolutely fantastic tackle to bring that second goal about. I'm such in disagreement with this about Brett. I love the guy. I honestly, yeah, you can put him as where you want, but what do you want from someone that come from Bristol City? Do you want him to be a world beater? No,
that's the thing, though. It's not necessarily him as a character and as a servant. He's been great, but I feel like in football, especially the way we're going, you can't have that kind of loyalty to someone who just simply isn't necessarily at that level, especially if we're getting promoted. If he's starting every week, we're just going to get absolutely ran through.
Right? Yeah, but you've 10 other men on that pitch that could put the ball in, so we out his 12 goals. Where are we?
But then, that's what I mean, though. You lose the structure and the build-up.
You look at the time we were in the Premier League last season, when he got banned or injured or whatever, they took him out of the team. All of a sudden, we started being more solid and we started getting results. And then this year, I appreciate, like you say, he's scoring, but he's just, like you say, Hannibal is a perfect example. You play him instead of him, we'll score, we'll still do as well, and often better. And there's less risk, and you're playing with 11 rather than coasting with 10. And like Jacob says, last 18 yards, he'll pop up and get a goal.
Oh, well, how's he doing his job then?
Royal
He's scoring.
Me and you don't Royal Die. It's Tuesday night before.
Hey, I'm not old enough to drink. What are you trying to cause me to for?
Absolutely. Right, I hate to move this chat on to Jonjo Shelvey, but that's exactly what I tend to do now. Connor, are you going to miss Jonjo Shelvey? He's out for the season.
I'm stuck in between two minds here because I honestly think, and I'm being dead serious, this isn't rage bait or anything, he has the best passing ability in the entire team. Can we all agree on that?
No, CJ Egan-Riley. 1,000%.
Right.
His diagonal balls are fantastic.
Forget CJ Shelvey, right? Are we going to miss him? I do think he was more of a Barnes type player. Maybe just bring that experience into the dressing room. But I'll personally miss him because I was waiting for him to get a run of games because that one pass he made against, was it Leeds or Sunderland, whoever it was, when he first came on, I fell in love with him from that moment. yeah, I fell in love with him from that moment. So I'll miss him, but it's just one of them things, really. Just unlucky.
Okay, Simon says he's not a miss. He's only just through the door, so we've played the whole season without him. I wasn't really impressed with the signing. Lauren and Hannibal get in before him. So it's not a great loss if he doesn't play again this season. Jordan, do you agree with that?
No. It sounds like I've just come for arguments now, doesn't it? This isn't usually me. No, I don't agree with that. I mean, yeah, definitely. Cullen and Hannibal are in before him, but one gets injured, then what do you do? So yeah, he's going to be a miss, I think, because he provides a decent backup. Personally, I'm not overly taken on the way he plays football. He's got a brilliant ball, but he does look a touch lazy. Maybe that's his style. I mean, I'm not too sure because we had this about Trezor, and we're not going down that rabbit hole again. So I've only just got over that. I think he will be a miss because he's really good experience to play within a role that somebody as a starting 11 would be missing.
Okay, good stuff. Before we move on from the Luton game, Dan, was it good to see Kaminski score, concede a hat load again?
It's happened again. It's happened again. Thomas Kaczynski. It's happened. No, it was. Yeah.
Lee says Phil Bird on commentary saying he hopes Kaminski gets up and is okay. Whilst all you can hear from a crowd in the background is "You'll always be a bastard" proves he was alone hoping for that outcome. Good on you. Right. Let's move on then. This week on the channel we are talking about wages because we've had a number of graphics which have been displayed from various sources. This one in particular from Salary Sport, suggesting that Burnley are the third highest in terms of wages spent. I mean, that's going to come no surprise to anyone, Dan, is it? I'm going to imagine.
No, we were always going to be up there. I know we got rid of a load during coming down from the Premier League and what have you, but we still retain quite a lot. So for us to have one of the bigger wage bills there, it is not really a shock. I'm surprised Luton are as high as they are. I thought they'd got rid of a load, but I'm surprised to see them above us. But yeah, we were always going to be like top 5.
Yep. And the top earner at Burnley is anyone?
Brownhill. I know it's Brown.
It's definitely Brownhill, yeah. 45, and this is not confirmed.
He's earned every penny, hasn't he?
Oh, they shan't go well to the argument.
Jacob, any surprises on there for you?
Like Trezor's not there.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, I'd say Trezor. To be fair, once CJ gets his new contract, he'll be on upwards of 50 grand, I can imagine.
Yeah, any for you, Connor? Are you surprised by it?
Not really, to be honest. Yeah, mainly just Trezor, to be honest. But yeah, it's what's expected, really.
When you look down this list, though, Jordan, and you see the amount of wages that the club players are on, does it add pressure to the fact that you definitely need to be promoted this season?
Yeah, no, it definitely adds pressure. It's a little bit frustrating to see somebody like Joe Worrell on 35,000. I mean, I know it was unforeseeable because CJ, we didn't know he'd be as good as he was. But no, there's some people on there that it does feel like. I mean, Foster, love the guy, don't get me wrong, but Jesus, he really won the cup, didn't he, to get 32.5 coming from Westerlo. Honestly, he was snapping hands off. Yeah, I think he'd have took 20 quid a week coming from Westerlo. But yeah, no, I do think that there needs to be a reassessment in wages. Like Redmond, he's going to be brilliant, but he's been sidelined for the best part of a year now. And what's that? Did it equivalent to just under £1 million to pay for someone who's sat there? I don't know. I don't want to throw shame on them because when they're touching the pitch, they're brilliant players. But it does seem like a lot of money for something that, we haven't been able to use.
West Brom and Swansea then await Burnley this week. Of course, we're recording this before the West Brom game, so we don't know how that's gone. But Dan, in terms of Swansea away, does it give you any worries at all? It should be straightforward, shouldn't it?
Yeah, on paper it's a walkover, isn't it? They're not firing up. I don't know where they are in the league. I know they're towards the bottom end. I don't think they're in the fight for an awful lot. I think the bottom 3 are probably the 3 that are going down. I know mathematically that's not correct, but I think realistically that's where we are. It should be, in theory, it should be an easy win for us, or certainly a comfortable game where we should be picking up 3 points. I think Tuesday against West Brom is going to be a bit more dicey because they're pushing for the playoffs and what have you. But that going on our earlier theory, they'll come on to us a bit more, and we've got half a chance of doing them. So I expect another, 6 points by the time we sit down again next week.
Okay. And Jacob, at the risk of upsetting your growing fan base, which two sides are going up this season?
I've been asked this question on about 17 different people's YouTube channels. Every single time I go on, they ask me this question. A few weeks ago, I said I think I said pretty much anyone at the top 4, but now I think it's in Burnley's hands. I've just put a bet on Burnley to win the league. I still think it'll be Leeds, but you got to back Scotty Parker's tricky Clarets in it. But yeah, I think for me, Leeds and Burnley go. For me, I said it a couple weeks ago when Sheffield United dropped points to Leeds. Well, dropped points, got battered in the end. That it's in Burnley's hands. It's Burnley's to throw away, in my opinion. All Burnley got to do is match the results and then beat Sheffield United at the turf, and Burnley will be promoted. Really. So I think for me, Leeds and Burnley will go up, and then Sunderland in the playoffs. I think.
I will never question the Geordie accent again. That is a proper Burnley fan, man.
All right.
I've had a season ticket for 10 years.
One last question for you all then this week. It's the opposite end we're looking at now. Who's coming up from League On, and which team would we like to see? Now, we're going to presume Burnley are gone, so it's not going to matter and you're not going to care too much, but play along with us for the spirit of it. Which one team? We think it's down to these 8 now, Connor. Which one of these would you like to see in the Championship next season?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. It's a hard choice, but I think I'll go Stockport because they're just different from the rest. We've not seen them in the Championship for God knows how long. Maybe Bolton just for a bit of a local derby, but Stockport don't like us for some reason. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, I'd like to see Stockport.
Okay, Jordan?
I'm a big supporter of Bolton. No, I'm not. I wish they'd go to the National League. I don't want Wrexham because they're just money injected, aren't they? I liked it at first. Now I'm just getting a bit. Now it's Mr. Moneybags. Reading's a bit of a shout because they're a cracking club, but I think I'm gonna agree with Connor on. They're closest to us. Well, I think they are if my geography's right. Let's get Stockport up.
Okay, Dan.
Well, Huddersfield can get in the bin. They've just fired off Macduff, so they can.
No,
you can't. They're not having that. Conversely to Jordan, I'm still enjoying the Welcome to Wrexham series, so I'd like to see them come up. But also, if you took them out of it because they are money bags, Charlton, just because big club, I like them.
Okay, Jacob.
I'm the same. I've got a Duff shirt behind us. I would not like to see them come up. I would rather it be Reading because I feel like all the trouble they've been through. It'd be great to see Reading get promoted and get a little bit of something.
Brilliant. Let us know in the comments who you think. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you, you three, as always. And massive thank you to you, Jacob. If you don't follow Jacob already, then what have you been doing with your life? Go and watch some of his some of his content. You
money every week, me. Everyone just get loads of love.
No, absolutely smashing, Jacob. We'll get you back at the end of the season when you go up. How's that?
Yeah, brilliant, perfect. I might be on like a 3-week hangover though, so you might have to.
All right, all the best to you, mate. Thank you very much for joining us this week, and we'll see you guys next week when we're reviewing West Brom and Swansea. See you then.